We're going to get into our live mailbag here in just a second, but as a reminder, the only way to get on the mailbag is to be subscribed because all these questions come in live. So if you want to be a part of the most interactive, the most viewed, and I like to think the most handsome Cowboys YouTube channel out there, hit that big red button and subscribe today. First up from Sally Boy Gaming, why Dalton is worse than Garrett Gilbert. Garrett Gilbert did some very nice things on offense. I was pleasantly surprised. I will make note, Garrett Gilbert did also complete a worse percentage of his passes than Andy Dalton did. I think Dalton will be okay. I don't really think the difference in those two guys is actually a lot. I think it's a lesser difference than we want to admit. I would have been fine rolling with Garrett Gilbert. I do think Andy Dalton is going to be better once he comes back. He was also never going to be as good as Dak Prescott. The anyone can have success in the offense guy has clearly been proven wrong. So with that in mind, pick your quarterback. Who do you want to see out there? I wouldn't have minded Gilbert because maybe he could have been your long-term backup at quarterback. But get your votes in. AD for Andy Dalton or GG for Garrett Gilbert. Family Kendrick, I think the bye week hurts our defense. We can lose the momentum and not play as hard as we are. What do you think? If 1 week off results in you losing all the momentum on defense, means you're probably going to lose it anyway. So that's my mindset. From Jason Johnson, do you think we should draft a linebacker? Yes, I'm not going to advocate for a top 5 pick at the linebacker spot, but be it day 2, early day 3, whatever, maybe multiple day 3 picks too, I do think the Cowboys should go out and add a linebacker. From Brian Parson, can you see the Cowboys trading back multiple times and taking Kyle Pitts later in the first round? They love drafting tight ends. Honestly, is tight end really in need for this team? Well, like, in all seriousness. Because in theory, you're going to get Blake Jarwin back, and everyone was hyped about Jarwin for decent reasons this season. And Dalton Schultz has been good. Like, he's no Kyle Pitts, obviously, because Pitts, the tight end from Florida, is awesome. But I don't want to trade down and then take a tight end because I got to address my defense. So I hope that is not something that they do, as good as Kyle Pitts is, though. Speaking of the draft, who do you guys want? Let me know in the comment section which prospect or prospects, if y'all want to get greedy with it, do you want the Dallas Cowboys to take in this upcoming NFL draft. From Ian, Justin Fields is looking like Russ, but taller. Recent, given that teams with great quarterbacks have succeeded with Russ, Aaron, and Pat, wouldn't he have more upside than re-signing Dak? I think you can make an argument there is more upside in a Justin Fields. There's also a lot more risk, too. Like, Justin Fields might just not be good in the NFL. We know that quarterbacks bust. Like, even that Patrick Mahomes draft. Like, Trubisky was terrible. Like, you have just as good of a chance, in fact, you actually have a higher chance of drafting a quarterback bust in the top 5 than you do getting the great next young quarterback. I like Justin Fields, I do, but I have a top 10 quarterback already. I'm hoping Justin Fields can be a top 10 quarterback. So maybe there is a little bit more upside, but not enough for me to outweigh the risk that comes with the moving on of a current top 10 quarterback that you already have. From Troy Daniels, do you think the Cowboys could use any of the defensive linemen for BYU? There's some beef and some speed there. The one that I'm familiar with, and I might mispronounce his name, the big boy, I think it's pronounced Kairos Tonga. If I'm mispronouncing the first name, Troy, please let me know. He's something like 6'4", 230, or 320, excuse me, as I flip my numbers around there. 6'4", 320. That's a big boy on the interior. I would not mind getting myself, I'm not going to say the F word here, but I wouldn't mind getting myself a big boy here in order to provide some extra girth on the interior. We canceled that campaign, but the methodology behind it still exists. From Musto Man 6, Tom, what if the Cowboys end up having the number 3 overall pick and yet don't have a trade partner in the draft? Quick note there, you will always have a trade partner. Now, it just depends. You might not get the offer that you want, but there's a trade partner. I mean, even the 2012, I think it was, draft, the Cowboys or the Raiders found a way to trade down in that one. So there'll be a trade partner. As for the guys you mentioned, Patrick Surtain, cornerback from Alabama, Penei Sewell, offensive lineman from Oregon, not sure how big of reaches those would be, but I do think that those guys make sense for Dallas. From Greystone, who do you think is better, Tony Pollard or Zeke? I still think it's Zeke, but the margin has shrunk. I know the statistics favor Pollard, but I do think there is some credence to the argument that, hey, yeah, that is because, Elliott's getting more tight boxes because teams are keying in on him. And when the Cowboys put in Pollard, they spread it out more, which is a coaching staff issue, less of a player issue. I think that Elliott's a better football player overall. I think part of the reason Pollard has been so good is because he is getting used in a different role, a different way, and is being more limited in his touches. I think that allows him to retain some explosiveness. Now, make no mistake about it. Zeke has not been the same guy. I miss prime Zeke where he would bust big runs. I want to see more of that. I miss that. But I still think in terms of who should be RB1, I'm still going to go with Elliott. But I'm down to make this split a little bit closer to 50-50, or maybe it's 60-40 Zeke. You guys can get your votes in here, though. Type TP for Tony Pollard or type in EE for Ezekiel Elliott. James Kelly, does anyone gamble on games? I do. I'm still in the black this year because I love to do big, reckless parlays, and then one has to hit, and you've made money for the entire year. You can get in on the sportsbook I use. That is BetUS. Head over to chatsports.com/bet. That'll get you a 125% deposit bonus. That's using promo code Cowboys125 at chatsports.com/bet. And if you're a new BetUS customer and maybe you're a little bit worried about, I haven't bet before, I don't want to lose all my money, I'll help you out here. If you want to bet on the Cowboys to cover against the Minnesota Vikings and they lose and fail to cover, I will cover your bet loss up to $50. So put down $100, that gets you the deposit bonus. You can put down $20 on the Cowboys to cover against the Minnesota Vikings. If they do, congrats. You won your first bet. Great way to start. If they don't cover, email us, cowboys@chatsports.com, cowboys@chatsports.com, and we'll get you hooked up, and I will cover your bet loss up to $50. But again, that is only available for new BetUS customers. So email us at Cowboys, just popped up at the bottom of the screen, cowboys@chatsports.com. From KB82 times TV, whatever it is. You think that it's time to start Pollard over Zeke? I love Zeke, but he's not running behind the same offensive line, and we might need a change. I do think, for whatever reason, this offensive line seems to have a little bit more success blocking for Pollard than they do Zeke, and that's probably because it's not a great run-blocking offensive line. It's not. Again, I'm down to give Pollard more reps. I am not convinced that just putting Pollard in Zeke's role and putting Zeke's in Pollard's role will actually result in Pollard retaining his same effectiveness. I think it would drop down a pretty good amount. From Coop Gardnier, do you think we need a defensive back? No, you need multiple defensive backs. You've got Trevon Diggs under contract, Anthony Brown, Donovan Wilson. Even if you want to make those guys your starters, you need at least two more to start. So, yeah, you need multiple defensive backs. Alan Williams, any good defensive tackle prospects besides the one from Alabama that you're eyeing? I know you did a mock draft, but still curious. Thank you, Alan, and thank you for saying I do a great job of hosting the show. The problem is it is not shaping up to be a very good interior defensive line class. So you've got Jay Tufele, the defensive lineman out of USC. He's not going to be a top 10 guy, but he also might not fall to you in round 2. Jordan Davis has a lot of promise. He's 6'5", 330 pounds out of Georgia. I like him, but I don't really want to deal with him being a top 40 pick. I think he's more of maybe a round 3 guy. Tyler Shelvin, LSU, 362 pounds, but comes from the Dontari Poe school of thought where he's probably a little bit too heavy. I mentioned Marvin Wilson earlier. He did not have a good year. Christian Barmore's the Alabama guy. Marvin Wilson goes to FSU. And then you're looking at maybe day 3 guys, Jalen Twyman, Pitt, Darius Stills, West Virginia, Levi on Uzurike out of Washington. Those could be options, but not really round 1, round 2 prospects that I think.